Yeah, okay. So I'm recording and later on you can see it. I'm starting a new project. And I'll go to a specific folder and right here, open a designated webinar folder and name it webinar 1. So I have a new project. You can see it on the top here. Webinar 1. What is a project? A project is a container of the DWG and other elements which are part of the project. Other elements which are part of the project. The next thing I will do, I will read a coordinate file which I received from, if I'm a surveyor, from my data station or GPS, or from a designer, I receive it from my surveyor. And when you install CivilCAD, it installs two folders. One of them sits in document where all the data is. So document, CivilCAD, if you install the software, you should have it. In samples, going down, I can see it. 3556.reg. This is a standard coordinate file. So you can see all the coordinates. It's a point number, easting, northing, or X, Y, and Z, and a total of 3,000 points. Click refresh. So I've hit this button, and this entire point will appear on my drawing. So let me take it down. So you can see that the software took this list upon pressing refresh and created a map of all the points. So what do I see? I see for each point that it's a block. It consists the point name and the elevation. Now, in some cases, I see that the software have shown that this is a tree. So all the software knows that this is a tree. So let's look for this point, 457. I'm using the binoculars here. Find 457. Find next. Here it is. So you can see that 457 here below, 457 here below has a code. The rest doesn't have, so it's not a must. It's not a must to do a code, but once you put a code at the end, the software transfers this block according to the code. There is a DWG in the installation folder that shows all the code that the CivilCAD has. And by the way, you can create your own set of codes and configure the system to work with your own set of codes. So again, when you enter a code at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th column, you'll have the code. Fine. The next thing that I want to do is to create a 3D surface out of these points and actually show the contours. So I'm going to topography, contours, and here in the intervals, I'm entering 0.5. So again, from topography contours, on the right, I have a new window. And I'm telling the software, create contours in an interval of 0.5 meter vertical interval. Apply. The software creates the triangulation and create the contour lines in this area that we just created. So these are the contour lines. Let me. So obviously the software does not know what are the borders. Our eye can see that there is a measurement survey along a path. But in this case, the software went to what we call convex hull. This is a convex geometry and create contours all along. Now there are two solutions for it. One is to go and create a polyline that demarcate or define the borders of the contours. You do it from here. Another option is to tell the software if a distance between 2 points exceeds a certain parameter or value, then eliminate, do not interpolate between the points. So I'm using this here, maximum interpolation line, and I'm putting 50 meter. Why 50 meter? Because I know that this survey is around 20 meter grid, or more or less. It's not actually a grid, but more or less. So I'm using 50 meter and I press apply. And now the software check if 2 points have more than 50 meter between them, then automatically the software will eliminate the contour line, which is the solution in this case. Any questions so far? Guys, before I continue to the next item, any questions so far? So just let me know, because in the chat, or you can even unmute yourself and ask it verbally if it's easier for you. So guys, do you have any questions so far? Is it too fast? No questions so far from Sarah. Okay. So I hope you can follow what I'm demonstrating, but we received contour lines. So unless you have questions or you want me to repeat it, now the good thing is not just that I have contour lines, I also have a 3D surface. What does it mean? It means that if I click this button here, for example, and pick here, or here, or here, I see the elevation here below. It says height T. Wherever I click, I get the 3D elevation at that location. Right, so I have a 3D surface. It's actually a beam surface. A beam, I don't know if you're familiar with the term. It's a beam, it's a 3D model of the surface of this specific path. Now, what I want to do is to design 2 roads, one which will go like this, and one which will go uphill from here, going this direction. So different point type, what do we, for example, see CSV? Okay, someone asked if we can read CSV or text. Both are readable. You can. So the question was probably about this. Someone asked. This is a standard TXT file, in fact. This is a standard TXT file. If you open it in Notepad, it will look this. It will look the same. But I can also take a CSV or Excel file and save it as CSV, and then I can read it here. So different point type one. Yeah. Any more question? Any more questions? No. Again, so the question was, what kind of files can I read here? I can read TXT, I can read CSV, every kind of format that you can open with Notepad is readable here, standard text. By the way, you can even take a DWG and filter it. So if you have your points in DWG, you can also use it. Okay, so no more question. Let me continue. What I'll do now, I'll zoom here. And now what I'll do, I'll create a new layer and I will call it, where is it? And I will name it My Centerline. So this is a new layer named My Centerline. My centerline, it means I intend to create a centerline using this layer. And let me mark it as like this, some kind of orange or whatever, red, and make it the current. So for now, I'm using standard CivilCAD command, or if you like AutoCAD command, to draw a polyline. And I will use my polyline to draw my center line. Will start from here, and we'll end up a straight line up till here. So this is my first center line. This is my first center line. But now it's just a polyline, right? It's a 2D polyline. So I want to convert it into a road, to an alignment, to a beam alignment of a road. So I'm going into roads, horizontal alignment. I'm pressing the select on the right. Then the command line saying enter an option. I have a polyline of segments. So this is a polyline. So I press enter. So tell me, select the object. I select it, press enter again. And that's it. The software identifies one IP at the beginning, one IP at the end. You can see it here on the right. And if I press apply, then the polyline will become a beam of a road. So here it is. You can see. You know what? For us to see better, let me freeze the points. Okay, good. So now you can see this is a road that starts here at 0, and there are cross sections each 20, or chainage if you like, chainages each 25 meter, which is the default. And this is the first IP, and this is the last IP. To continue with the horizontal alignment, now I will not use the same polyline methodology, but I will use the second methodology, which we call segments. So how do I do segments? I will start with a standard tangent, which is the polyline. And let's say the junction shoots, I want to go along here. Let's start here. So let me use objects now. And let's say from here. And remove them just now. So this is my first segment. This is my first tangent. And the another segment will be from here to here. And another segment will be from here to here. Good. So I have three tangent, three segments. It sits here. Yeah. Which sits here. Now, what I want to do is to create, so now they're just polylines. So I want to create segments and actually connect them with a curve. For this, I'm using these tools, this set of tools. We call it horizontal alignment tools. I'm choosing this tool, for example, line to line and curve. Line and line to curve. So when I press it, the command line says, first line selection, press enter to continue. I press enter and I select the first line and press enter again. When the command line says second line selection, press enter to continue. So I'm going to press enter and select the second line. Now the software asks me, is there any transition curve between here and here? And it's just a clotoid in a left of the transition. I said, no, put 0. I don't want any transition. So ask me, what is the radius here? So let's use 200 meters. And what is there any transition in the out? When I'm going out, the curve? No, 0. Okay. So now you see what happened. The software took it and created. It trimmed the first tangent and create a segment of it. Then the tangent point. Then the curve. And then the next one. And I will use the same trick here. Here. This one, 0, and here I'll do a smaller curve. Let's try to use 100. Yep, good. So I'm happy. I have a bunch of segments. For now, it's not alignment, it's just a bunch of segments. I will go to the roads list. So this was road number 1. I would create another road. I would call it road number 2. Road 2. I'm doing it on the right. Then I will go to the horizontal alignment and select the second road, road number 2. And now I need to select the segments which I've created. So I'm using the same method, same select, but instead of choosing the polyline, I'm writing to the command line S for segments. And tell the software, this is the first segment, second, third, and fifth, and the last one is this one, and enter. Yeah, if there's a geometry solution, which obviously there is because we used this tool to construct it, the software automatically identify it and will say the starting point start here on the red, and these are the rest of the segment being chosen. And this was compiled into a road you can see on the right with 4 IPs and 2 registers. I press apply just to see the results. Here you are. So the second road is also now a beam module of a road. So again, 25 meter. We see that there's a tangent point here, and we see the data of the curve situated here, the data of the curve situated here, and so on and so forth. I'm done with the horizontal alignment, and unless you have a specific question, I will go to the vertical profile, vertical alignment. So guys, you can unmute yourself or you can write, feel free to ask, because this is the time to ask questions about horizontal alignment. Can you create junctions? Yeah, there is a model to create junction, automatic solution for junction, but I have to be honest, sometimes it gives problems. So what I've seen from most of our clients is that they arrange it by themselves here. So there is a module for junctions here, but I have to be honest, it's not 100% proof, full bulletproof. Any other questions? How about the standard of road? Which kind of standard support in this software? Okay, the software comes with the ASHTO standard. But of course you can create your own template and your own standard. Like I showed for the points, you can do for other layers, for speed limits, and for other things like that. But we're using the American standard, even the coding, you can see the list of layers here, the American standard of ASHTO. Any more questions? Any more questions that you would like to ask now, before I continue to the next item? Okay. If you have more, just feel free to ask. I'm minimizing the chat, and let me continue to vertical alignment. So let's summarize. We started with topo points. We created a surface, 3D surface out of them. Then we draw one line, and then we used some segments, and we created segments, and then we converted the polyline and the segments into 2 roads. We call it this road number 1, and this is road number 2. The next thing that I intend to do is to go to the vertical alignment. If I go to roads vertical alignment, what CivilCAD does, it creates another DWG. You can see it here, another DWG, where the original DWG sits here. So this is another one. Up to what level can beams method work? So everything that I'm doing here is a beam. Everything. The surface is a beam. The road now is a primitive beam. Once I converted the polyline into a road, it's a primitive beam. I can import some of the BIM module. I can export some of the BIM module. But I'm working with BIM, so everything is interactive and actually BIM's module. So this is the horizontal alignment and this is the vertical profile. And there are two tables below, one for the data and one for the design. If I click apply here and apply again, the software will go, okay, I started with road number 2. Let's start with road number 1. Sorry, it's my mistake. Road number 1, and I apply. Okay, so this is road number 1. This is road number 1. This is the existing ground level of the road. In fact, all these segments, which are running distance and elevation, you can see it here. You can see it here. Now, for example, if you see something which is abnormal, you can, of course, go to the surface and check it, or you can even fix it here. So, for example, this is 19. See this? I press right click and delete and press apply. Okay, so I change it from here. So it's also a possibility. What else? I see all the design, the ground level data here. I saw the horizontal alignment here, and I see the junction to road number 2. And since it's a junction that turns to the right, so I see the flag to the right. So we're talking about. So this is road number 1. Sorry. This is road number 1. And here there's a junction turning to the right. So you can see it from here. So this is the station, the junction. Now, for now, there's no design level for road number 2. So the software just put the bottom on the ground level. When you start designing, the software will change the flag accordingly. So I will start with a simple profile. And I'm creating the polyline. And let's say I will start it from here, from 574. And I will go like this till here. Okay, so I exceeded my existing ground level. So once I hit apply, the software will trim it. This is the default. Okay, so the software took the polyline and converted it into a profile with 12.33 per mil slope. And if you prefer the percentage, and let me show it as a percentage. So this is 1.23% goes here, and you can see it here below. You can see the table below. I can change it here. I can also change in the table. For example, I want to make it exactly minus 1.5. I change it and press apply, and the software will change it to minus 1.5. If I want to take it a little bit up, this and apply. Okay, now I'm good. Now I'm good. So this is the profile of road number 1. The good thing is that now I have a design profile here, right? So if I go to road number 2, intersecting road, and see, this is the actual elevation of road number 1. In fact, the software by default shows you how road number 1 profile looks like when you project it on road number 2. I hope you are getting me. So again, we are now on road number 2. There's one T junction from road number 1, so I do 2 flags. It's in the beginning. And road number 1 alignment goes like this. So again, this is road number 1, and now I'm looking at road number 2. The projection of road number 1 is as we see it in the profile of road number 2. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to start, let's say, from the same elevation. Let me use an extension like this. Good. I'm starting more or less the same profile. And then, of course, I have to start climbing up. This is quite stiff. This is, by the way, 100 to 1000, the scale, which I see now. You can change it anytime. But this is good. So let me do another polyline that remove the object snap. Let's start, say, from here and go, let's say, to here. And yeah, what happened to the AutoCAD? The command line is not. Okay. Okay, it's on my side. Sorry about that. Let me undo. Yeah. Again, I'll start from here, going, let's say, like this. And from here, I'll do something like that. So this is my profile from scratch. So the software will know what's going on here. So let's trim it a little bit. And from here, here, and the same goes here. And I press apply and convert this set of polylines into a profile. Okay. So automatically the software also corrected the datum to be lower. So things will not overlap for me. And this is it. This is my profile for now. What is the slope here? 14.5, still reasonable. And let's move it a little bit like this. So I can open the curve below. And now I want to create the vertical curve here. So let's say I want to create it at the distance of 50 meters. So this is the curve. Okay, it's a little bit, no, it's not realistic. Let's open it a little bit like this. Okay, much better. Okay, and the same goes here. Let's make it also. Okay, so I. 27. Make more sense. Yeah, any questions? So I see one question. Is it possible to edit data table, like add another row in data, change information position? Of course. So the question was, can I do it in a tabular manner, like here in the list, not just graphical? So yeah, of course I can do it. And so for example, I want to create another vertical curve somewhere here. This is around 331. So I'm coming here to the table, right click, insert. And I'm telling to the software for 330 meters, go in a slope of 12%. And press enter. Press enter and apply. That's it. I created another row. I think this is and then to change the information position. I can change it here. For example, if I'm unhappy with this, I can change it to be, let's say, a little bit higher. Instead of 606, 620. More closer. Oh, 20 is a lot. Okay, like this. But my slope is huge. Or I can change it graphically like I did before. So for your question, I can do both. Any more questions, please? Any more questions, please? Any questions about the profile, about the vertical alignment? Any questions about the profile, the vertical alignment, please? No questions? Guys, this is the time. If not, I'm going to the next item. No questions. Okay, fine. I have mass balancing, not automatic. Yeah, well, we have, and I assume you are talking about mass flow diagram. We have a mechanism for it, and if you're talking about air force calculation, we have a mechanism for it, if this was the question, if I understood you correctly. So we have a mechanism to balance the air force. In this case, I'm not sure that it's a good one, because we have other restrictions. So in this case, if I will use to balance, then the junction will fall out of place. But there is a mechanism for mass balancing of quantities. If this is the question. And it's also to create a mass flow diagram. Okay. Okay, another question? Okay, none. Let me apply. And close this. And by the way, if I go to the horizontal alignment and refresh, this, you will see the elevations on the center line projected. The elevation on the center line projected. Good. What I'm going to do now is go into cross sections. I will start with I will go to the first road number 1, and go to its cross sections. So this road. So there's a new window here. Below you can see the CivilCAD window. There's a new window, designated window here. And the first thing that I'll tell the software, use the same default 25 meters. So the software automatically creates a list of all the sections here on the right. And I'll tell the software, go 20 meters to the left, 20 meters to the right, and give me the cross sections. So this is what we see. These are the cross section 20 meters to the left, 20 meters to the right. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to tell the software, read the template. Sorry, not from here. I can design my own, or I can open a template. So if I go to samples, to templates, go to rural, 2 lanes plus shoulders. That's what I want to do. Okay, so this is 2 lanes plus shoulders. This is a classic 2 lanes plus shoulder, 3.65 meters to the left, 3.65 meters to the right, with 2.5%, and shoulders of 1.75. with a closure of 1.122 at the end, to the left and to the right. So this is the template, and the thickness of the total structure thickness is 0.4 meter, 40 cm from here to here. So the data is being presented. On top, I see the top. Below, I see the design, and this is the existing. I'm taking this section, go to the last. So if I take this section, this template, I can go to the next section and project it and get the next one and continue like this. But of course, this is not the solution that we want because it's an endless solution. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this template, go to the last section, paste it, and tell the software to do automatic interpolation. Automatic interpolation, like this one. Mean, okay. So if I go now, the software use this template and created cross sections all along. Created the cross sections all along the road. But now, my problem is that here I want to create a ditch, protective drainage here to the right. So I'm changing this to the right. I don't want the cross section to end like this. I want it to end with a ditch, right ditch. And I'm telling the software, okay, this is slope of 1 to 1. So if there's a ditch here, use this embankment to be 1 to 1 as well for the ditch. And use the right embankment to be right 1 to 1 as well. And the bottom of the ditch should be 0.5 meter. Now, I want the ditch to be created only in cut, meaning only when the section goes into cut areas, create ditch. If it's in field, don't do a ditch. So I'm only entering the data for cut. And cut go 0.6 meter depth. And that's it. Here it is. This is the one which I use 1 to 1, 1 to 1, and 0.6 meter for the ditch. And if I want, I can create the same to the left. This is it. And in this case, the closure to the left is 1.2 from the end of the ditch. Okay, now I can change it. 1 to 1. I will use it to change the template. Okay, so this is it. Now, what I'm doing, I'm using the same methodology. See, this is the fill. So, okay, this is fill, but I told the software if the fill is lower than 0.6, also create a ditch. I did it in the ditch definition. So let me project it all over. That's it. 1, 2. See, I've not projected the ditch. Let's see. Yeah. So let's project the ditch as well. And do the same to the left ditch. Yeah. Okay. So I have my set of cross sections. Here it is. I can now, first of all, let me save it. I can now convert it into a A0 sheet at a scale of 100 to 100. Okay. Now the software would create sheets at A0 layouts. So it calculates it to be in 2 sheets, 2 layouts, 1 and 2. So let's select the papers, the right paper size. Okay, so this is the sheet. Of course, you can modify this to be your own block. And since all this is coming in it's of course better like this. Maybe subgrade. Let's do brown. Okay, so I have all the sheets. In fact, I have 2 sheets, 1 and 2. Any questions so far? Any questions so far about what we just saw? Okay, what I want to do now is tell the software also project this design on the full layout with a 3D surface, full corridor. Now I've received a full corridor along this road. A full corridor along this road with all the data, and the ditch, you see it start from here, going down, the flow direction. This flow direction goes here. Good. Any questions so far? Any question about what we just saw? Let me freeze the contour line, the existing ground. Any questions so far? No question. No question. Okay. Now I'll go to the final stage of this demonstration. The final stage of this demonstration is to design a sewage pipeline along this road. And another one, let's say, that goes out somewhere here. By the way, I forgot, before I'm going to underground infrastructure, let's assume that I received from the electric company a DWG of an electric pipe. Okay, there's an electric pipe here. Okay, this is a polyline that I received from the electric company that shows an electric pipeline which sits here. It's a 2D polyline. Okay, this is what I got from the GIS system at CAD format. Now, first of all, I want to project it on my cross sections. So if I go back to the cross sections and tell the software, use this utility, and the software asks me which layer do you find the utility, I tell the software use this layer. Okay, electricity. Finished successfully. Let's see. Okay, starting from section 075, here we can see this electricity pipeline to the left, which is 1.79 meter to the left. Now the software does, because it's a 2D, the software does not know where to put it in the ground, so we just mark it to the left. The same goes here. So I'll just be alert that there's an electricity pipeline going here. Now this will become more dramatic when I'm designing my sewage pipeline. So let me start. I'm opening a new layer and I will call it my sewage. And my sewage will become the current, and I will give it some kind of a color, reddish color like this. And it will start somewhere here, under the asphalt, each 20 meters. So I'm just creating a polyline with vertex each 20 meters for my road, for my pipeline, this one. And just for us to see, let's create another pipeline that goes from, let me remove the nearest. And from this vertex, let's say it goes like this. Another pipeline. 30 meters, 30 meters. So I have two pipelines, this one and this one. But now I just polyline, so I want to convert it into a B module. So I'm going to pipeline list. And this will be the first one, and the second one will be 2, and both of them are sewage, and with a round profile, and using millimeter as units. So let me select it. So this will be the same practical like I did in the road I'm doing here. I'm taking this polyline, select it, and automatically the software converts it into a pipeline. So you can see here, this is the pipeline. So what do I see? I see the pipeline. I see the length between segments. We know it's 20 meters. I see that the software gave it like running numbers. This is line number 1, and also created the coordinates here, which I can for now freeze because it's overlapping and I don't need it. Okay. But the issue is that I've not defined anything else. So if I'm using to the right, that the software take this and make it a 400 millimeter pipe. And for the manhole, use 150 cm, because this is the unit that I'm using for the manhole itself. So now you see the manhole became bigger, and this is 150, and we also see the data here, 150, and this is 400. Okay. Now I will go to the section. In this case, the CivilCAD will open another instance of ZWCAD, still loading it. So you have two instances. You have the one below, and you have another one here. Okay. So this is my pipe, right? And I'll use the same method, and I'll tell the software apply. And now you see, I can see the section. I can see the section of the pipeline. What else? I want to tell the software, I'm telling the software that, okay, but the section, this is a section of the ground level. And I want to see the section of my design. So I'm changing this into design and take this as well. So now I will see the two surfaces of the existing and the design. Existing and the design. The next thing that I intend to do, is to project the electricity pipeline. So I'm going to pipeline crossings. I tell the software, again, use the same layer. We call it electricity layer. And apply. So there's one intersection found after 61 meters. So this is the intersection. And with this electricity network, but there is no depth because the software doesn't know. So if I want, I can click here and tell the software, I know that the line is 1.2 meters. And I know that the diameter is 10 cm. This is the data which I know. So if I go back to the section, automatically, I will see this small pipe. Again, this is the small pipe with the station and elevation of this pipe. Now I'll use the table below to design. I can design graphically, or I can design here in real data. So all the list of manuals are sitting here below. From 1 to 13. I'm starting with a depth here of 1.5 meters. Depth of 1.5 meters. And I see that the ground is around 1.65%. It's written here. So I will use more or less the same, 1.65. Press apply. And this is the pipe. I received the pipe. We know already that it's 400 millimeter. We know the manuals are 1.5 meter. And the problem is that I'm intersecting with my electric pipeline. Now I can use automatic design here and the software will try to find a solution for me. But in this case, I know it's easy for me because I know what is the solution. I will just create a drop here of 60 cm. So what I'm going to this manhole, this one, and create a drop of minus. Yeah, here it is. What I've software created is created a drop of 0.6 meter, and I found the solution. Now I'm not hitting the electric pipeline. I'm not hitting the electric pipe, which is sitting here. In fact, the software has a definition that says if it's above 40 cm, create an external drop. So this is what I see here. It's an external drop because it's above 40 cm. Sorry, above 40 cm. So this is my sewage pipeline. If I go back again, so let's just enter material, make it PVC, and no pop-up. Okay, I will no wall thickness. Okay, I have many definitions here. Let me just use this one. If I go now back to my pipeline here. Okay, someone asked me if I want to remove a manual, if I want. Okay, just I will do it now. Okay. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is I applied. So first of all, when I apply, I see a few things. First of all, I see the crossing. This is the point of the crossing. It shows it's in a layer, so if I don't like it, I can remove it. And for each manhole, I can see the top level, the invert level, at the entrance and the exit, and the height. So if you want to see it. Okay. So I see the height, invert level, the entrance, and the exit. In this case, I use the same, and top level in each location. The top level in each location. Now, okay, let's assume another thing. Let's assume that this is too close. You see, pipeline, what's happened here? This is too close. So I can either remove this completely, or I can just move the manhole. If I'll take this and use this, and use object snap nearest, here, and press apply. See what happened? All the manhole changed. So now I'm far away from the crossing. Everything changed to a new location. So if I go to the section, okay, you see, this is what I did. I changed this and move it away. So now I'm a distance of, it says 6.4 meters from my pipe, which is enough for me. The only thing is that I didn't define the software what to do with terms of slope here. So it just used the same invert level. So the slope change, you see it's a little bit going down like this, 1.3. So I can fix it easily. This is very simple. Just the software fix it to be 1.65 again. And that's it. Now I've even corrected the slope. Before I close this section, this session, few other things. Reports. If I go to pipelines reports, for example, and I want to see the manholes table, so I can see a table that shows for each manhole. This says, you know what, let me put it in Excel. Okay, so for each manhole, we see the coordinate, we see the invert level, the diameter, the height. I can even also try to use this one and put it on the and put it here, right? So what you see here is this manhole table. Now the report, I just paste it on my plan. So I have a full plan. I have a full plan. Guys, I've finished for today. I'm already exceeding 15 minutes of my time. So now it's time for questions. Now it's time for questions. Now it's time for questions on everything that you saw or anything else that you think you would like to see. You can write, you can also unmute yourself and feel free to talk. No, we don't have it in German, sorry. Yes, we will send the recording to all of you. For now, we don't have it in German. First, let's let's hope, are the table dynamic? What do you mean dynamic? If I would change anything here, will it change here? Yeah, of course. If I would change here, manage. Yeah, Rainer. First, let Germany win the football, go to the next round, and then maybe we'll change it into German language. Due to personal issue, I was late. Can we have a video with today's webinar? Yes, we'll distribute.
Thanks for the presentation. This is Wissam Harib from Saudi Arabia.
Yes, please.
Have a success stories in the Middle East? Did you implement at any of the Middle East sites?
Can you repeat it? Sorry.
I'm saying, do you have any customer who did projects in the Middle East areas?
Yes, we have some in Jordan, because I'm speaking now from Israel, so we have in Israel. We have in Turkey, if this you call, and I think we have also in Egypt. I'm not sure, but this is what I can recall.
Great.
Can you use overhead cable utilities like electric? Yeah, of course. If I have it now, I can just add it and put it. Is there an update on junction creation? Not for now. Not for now. We are working on an update for the junction creation, but not for now. We are not intending to release it in. How is it to change the template and introduce a different regulation than NASHTO? I think it's very, very simple. In fact, very simple. I can tell you that where I'm coming from in Israel, we don't use NASHTO. We use part of it, but we have our own templates, and it's very easy to change. You change it once and then you apply it. Any other questions, guys? This is the time. Of course, ladies, can you customize utility parts? When you see utility parts, you mean this or this? Okay, we have different predefined utilities like manhole. Okay, I can, in fact, each manhole like this, I can create it. I have many predefined templates. So you have to explain to me what you want to do. For example, if I want to, let's take this manhole. The answer is yes, but we have to be more specific. I want to use this manhole and change it to be 200 on 100, like this. See? Okay, you see, so for example, I have this, if I want to do it, I did it 200 to 100. I did it here in the table. So it's 2 meters by 1 meter. Or if I want to change it, I'll do it 100 by 2, 1. Right? So yeah, there are many. Can we export to IFC format? Yeah. This is exactly what you can do. To trade with the beam, you can, but as I said in the beginning, not for all. The surface you can, part of the pipelines you can, part of the roads you can. But this is the intention. So we are working on more exportation and importation of IFC format. Someone asked me about IFC format, which is beam. Yeah, you can export and import beam, but for now, we have few which you can, few which are still under development because we customize it all the time. And okay, is there an update on layout creation for plan and profile on the same page for presentation? Yes, there is. It's a practice which I notice only in Africa, but I'm sure you are talking about the way where you can take the roads profile and project it on A3 page along with the profile. We had a problem with 10 release with that, but we've done some updates and now it's supposed to work very well. So yes, we have. So in 10.3, it's supposed to work very well, or at least the latest 10.3. Updates are available for our clients here. I go to the program and download from here the software updates. Anything else? More questions? Assuming you have finished with your road or pipe design, is there an export option to Land XML for the surveying crews to stake out? Okay. As I said, we have export to IFC. In the past, we had some exporting to Land XML, but we abandoned it toward the IFC. So we have, but the direction is to export to IFC. About setting out, the best thing is to take the AutoCAD, go, for example, design coordinates, put a pick here, and start picking, creating points. This is all our construction points people does. They either pick points here into the TXT automatic and export for setting out, or they use roads for roads. We have not earthworks, coordinates computation, where you can automatically create a list of XYZ along or at a certain point or at the side sticks and so on for setting out. So I think this is much more easy. Can you add custom data to object like documentation numbers? In some you can, in some you cannot. So we have to be specific. In some you can, in some you cannot. So some of those that we have converted fully to BIM, you can. Some still under development to be part of the BIM. So this is the answer on that. More questions, please. I'm open for it. If not, I will have to thank you for everything and for your time, for your precious time. And of course, if you have more questions, just for your information, this is my phone number, so you can WhatsApp me. This is my phone number. You can directly call me on WhatsApp, or even better, yeah, if you go to the product page, you can join here to WhatsApp group where we publish some additions. We publish some, like if we do an upgrade or we do a major release, we also add release note and so on. So you can join this. This is free. Or if you want to contact with us on purchase and other business, just click here and chat with us. It's also available. And of course, by email. The best thing is to send an email to sales@sivandesign.com. Any question that you want, you can just send it. Guys, thank you very much. Enjoy the day, enjoy the World Cup. Cheers, bye.